It won't make us more safe, it will make us less safe.
Welcome to The Lead. I'm Jake Tapper. It is, as so many things we have told you about this election cycle, seemingly unprecedented. The president today taking to the East Room of the White House to say essentially that in his view, the presumptive Republican presidential nominee, Donald Trump, is a threat to the nation. Now, Mr. Obama did not use those words, but that was his clear message. Sources close to the president tell CNN that the speech reflects the following concerns of the president. One, the president's belief that the major challenge that the U.S. faces regarding terrorism right now is that ISIS is making a deliberate effort to promote self-radicalization here in the U.S. And two, that therefore embracing approaches such as that of Donald Trump, in the president's view, ones that stigmatize and alienate Muslims broadly, that's the worst thing we as a nation can do.
And if we fall into the trap of painting all Muslims with a broad brush and imply that we are at war with an entire religion, then we are doing the terrorist work for them.
Now, in addition to the president's concerns about religious liberty, sources tell CNN that the president has privately expressed in more stark terms his concern that Trump's rhetoric and policy proposals might drive an alienated young Muslim American down the wrong path. Now, much of this section of the speech the president wrote last night and this morning with aides. Yesterday afternoon, he decided to deliver the speech, sources tell CNN, after Donald Trump made his national security speech in New Hampshire. Sources saying that the president was bothered that many in the political world just seem to accept that this is the new norm, casually accepting the besmirching of the entire Muslim community. Now, we're going to explore all angles of this speech, including Mr. Trump's response. But let's begin with CNN chief political correspondent Dana Bash, who's here with me in Washington. Dana, an extraordinary speech from the president.
Absolutely. You know, Jake, you and I spent the last 6 months together during primary and caucus nights in this election season, marking big moments in the 2016 campaign. This was one of those moments, no question about it. It's the day that the president of the United States tried to come out and change the Trump narrative. And I'm told also, like you are, Jake, that Mr. Obama was absorbing all that Donald Trump said yesterday afternoon about Muslims, and that he expressed to his aides that he wanted to come out and say something. The result today was months, in his case, maybe even years of pent-up frustration watching and listening to Donald Trump.
We are now seeing how dangerous this kind of mindset and this kind of thinking can be.
A rhetorical explosion rare for any president, especially one who prides himself on keeping calm.
We now have proposals from the presumptive Republican nominee for president of the United States to bar all Muslims from emigrating to America. We hear language that singles out immigrants and suggests entire religious communities are complicit in violence. Where does this stop?
Tearing into Donald Trump with visible anger and disgust.
That's not the America we want. It doesn't reflect our democratic ideals. It won't make us more safe, it will make us less safe.
The power of his words amplified by the stagecraft. A commander-in-chief coming out of a counterterrorism briefing, standing with his top military officer, a 4-star general.
We've gone through moments in our history before when we acted out of fear, and we came to regret it. We don't have religious tests here. Our founders, our Constitution, our Bill of Rights are clear about that. And if we ever abandon those values, we would not only make it a lot easier to radicalize people here and around the world, but we would have betrayed the very things we are trying to protect.
And what really got him going? The GOP refrain that he's weak on terrorism because he refuses to use the term radical Islam.
There's not been a moment in my 7.5 years as president where we have not been able to pursue a strategy because we didn't use the label radical Islam. Not once has an advisor of mine said, man, if we really use that phrase, we're going to turn this whole thing around. Not once. So if someone seriously thinks that we don't know who we're fighting,
All that as the candidate Obama endorsed delivered a more measured version of the same message.
He is fixated on the words radical Islam. Now, I must say I find this strange. Is Donald Trump suggesting that there are magic words that once uttered will stop terrorists from coming after us?
Hillary Clinton continues to use Trump's response to the Orlando massacre to define him as too volatile for the White House.
Yesterday morning, just one day after the massacre, he went on TV and suggested that President Obama is on the side of the terrorists. Now just think about that for a second. Even in a time of divided politics, this is way beyond anything that should be said by someone running for President of the United States.
Now, both Hillary Clinton and President Obama were quite deliberate in not just going after Trump, but putting the onus on the Republican rank and file and leadership to decide whether they support Trump rhetoric and prescriptions, knowing full well that most don't. So, Jake, politically speaking only here, it is a good thing for Democrats trying to unite to continue to push open the divide within the Republican Party.
And a lot of Republicans on Capitol Hill now just refusing to answer any questions
go there.
about their own party nominee. Dana Bash, thanks so much.